What's the hidden reason behind Sheldon mocking Howard? Why should you have paid attention to young Leonard's red robe? Who from the cast played two different characters and you never noticed? And why does Sheldon's grandma always call him Moonpie? Hi, I'm Dylan. Let's get started. The mystery behind Sheldon's hatred for engineers. Everyone remembers Sheldon constantly making fun of Howard and his profession throughout all of TBBT seasons.
Engineering, where the noble, semi-skilled laborers execute the vision of those who think and dream. Hello, Oompa Loompas of science.
And Young Sheldon Season 4 provides additional hidden context on exactly why Sheldon dislikes engineers so much. This happened after Sheldon was disappointed with being a lab assistant. The young genius begged to work with Dr. Linkletter because he was excited about actually helping the professor with his theories. But eventually he found out that the reality of being a lab assistant was extremely far from his expectations. Instead of getting closer to science, he was tasked with scrubbing the grease off of hundreds of bolts.
Tedious menial part that could be performed by a monkey. Or worse, an engineer.
This phase directly explains how, at a very young age, he attributed Howard's profession to mind-numbing work. And since Sheldon's best asset is his brain, engineering was sorted to the never folder in his head. This idea stuck with Sheldon until he grew older, so meeting Howard, who's an engineer, unlocked all of those memories, and the poor guy was the brunt of a lot of mocking jokes.
Since every interpretation gives exactly the same answer to every measurement, they are all equally correct. However, I know you believe in the many worlds interpretation, so I'll say that. Now, do you think I'm smart enough? No.
Who is the nurse? The creators of Young Sheldon didn't hesitate to take from the Big Bang Theory to the maximum, starting with one of the series' creators, Jim Parsons, and continuing with episodic actors such as the legendary television and stage actress Vern E. Watson. Remember her? She appeared in a few episodes of The Big Bang Theory as Althea Davis, a no-nonsense nurse forced to deal with the guys in some of their more bizarre adventures.
I'm just throwing this out there, but home births are very popular these days.
And later, Watson reappears on Young Sheldon as a similar character, Nurse Robinson, who encounters the Cooper family in the 90s Texas setting.
This is Ricky, your new roommate.
Nice to meet you.
I am so sorry.
This trick confused a lot of fans. They kept asking the same question: is that Nurse Davis or Nurse Robinson? Good job, those of you who noticed, because now the answer is obvious. Both. Meeting Sheldon's idol. Young Sheldon does a great job with small references hidden in props, interiors, and costumes. As a kid, Sheldon considered one person a true superhero. And in the 6th season of The BBT, we were finally introduced to one of Sheldon's childhood idols, the television scientist Professor Proton. Remember how, during his first meeting with Professor Proton, Sheldon mentions he owned a framed, signed photo of Professor Proton that he received as a kid after writing the television star a fan letter? Young Sheldon features that same framed signed photo of Professor Proton on the wall of Sheldon's bedroom, right above his desk. If you are an even more attentive viewer, you must have also noticed young Sheldon frequently watching Professor Proton's television show during multiple episodes. He's emphasized the role both the man and the series played in his young adult life numerous times, always with respect and appreciation. The hot beverage of comfort. In the BBT, a hot beverage of comfort became Sheldon's go-to method of dealing with someone in emotional distress.
Social protocol states when a friend is upset, you offer them a hot beverage, such as tea.
Here comes another tiny detail, hidden in Young Sheldon, which explains why this type of comfort became so crucial for Sheldon. When his dad stumbled upon Sheldon making tea for his fellow pint-sized genius friend Paige, he told his son that he was proud of him. That got captured in Young Sheldon's head, and became the reason why he needed to continue with this method for years to come.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Of all my accomplishments, I don't know why he singled this moment out, but I'm glad he did.
The hot beverage of comfort, however, was not the only habit Sheldon learned in childhood and carried into his adult life. The history of the healing lullaby. Of course, you remember Penny reluctantly singing Sheldon's favorite childhood lullaby, Soft Kitty.
Soft, warm kitty, little ball of fur.
In fact, this habit appeared a long time ago. Our Sheldon is a raging germaphobe and unabashed about it. He's very particular about his routines, and when he comes into the slightest bit of contact with germs, he becomes even more set in his ways and much more complicated to deal with. So throughout The Big Bang Theory, anytime that Sheldon is remotely sick, he demands that someone sings him the lullaby. This is explained in season 1 of Young Sheldon, where the young genius is hyperfixated on remaining healthy in the presence of germs and goes absolutely crazy about it. And to support the irony, of course he gets sick at the end of the episode after contracting the cold that's been making the rounds. The episode ends with an extremely heart-melting, beautiful, and cute scene of his mother serenading a sleepy, sick Sheldon with Soft Kitty, so that he gets better faster, which made a strong association in his brain. Once the song is sung, he gets better.
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur.
Whose version of the lullaby did you enjoy the most? Let us know in the comments. Everything was forecasted? Young Sheldon's second season finale included an extremely heartwarming montage of his friends when they were kids. The first of Sheldon's eventual best friends that the final scene includes is a then pint-sized Leonard Hofstadter, who is staying up late listening to the radio. There are various items scattered across his desk, including an inhaler, a toy robot, and some science notes, all of which kinda give us a nostalgic vibe. But yet, the clearest visual reference to the original series is hidden in what Leonard is wearing. Just look at this cozy reddish-brown striped robe. Remind you of something? This is exactly the same pattern as the robe Leonard wears for the entire run of The Big Bang Theory. Clearly, it's not the same robe, but it shows that Sheldon isn't the only one whose particular tastes and preferences haven't changed much in a lifetime. Next one to go was young Penny, who had a baseball and a bat near her bedside. On her wall was a cowboy hat to represent Nebraska, as well as a poster of Los Angeles, suggesting that she already had dreams of becoming an actress. Young Howard was in his bedroom, wearing his customary silk PJs. To his right, if you look carefully, it's easy to spot a table of magic tricks and props. His future wife Bernadette had a microscope on her nightstand to represent her interest in microbiology, as well as a trophy and a sash to represent her days as a child beauty pageant contestant. Young Raj was still in India back then, and if you pay attention to what's in his room, in the background, you can see a stuffed tiger on his bed, representing the Royal Bengal Tigers, while the telescope to the right of his desk foreshadows his future career as an astrophysicist. And last but not least was Sheldon's future wife, who was wearing one of her old-fashioned nightgowns and of course was up late, sitting with a flashlight, of course reading her favorite book, Little House on the Prairie. What an extraordinary and at the same time cute way the showrunners chose to do this scene, don't you think? But that's not all. An even greater concentration of cuteness is associated with the relationship between Sheldon and his beloved granny. Sheldon's mysterious nickname. In The Big Bang Theory, it took us until the series' 9th season to finally see Sheldon's grandmother Meemaw for the first time, which was more than confusing considering how often she was discussed in many episodes.
Sheldon, are these letters from your grandmother?
Don't read those letters.
Oh, look, she calls you Moonpie. That is so cute.
Put down the letters!
Young Sheldon, on the contrary, constantly melts our hearts with touching moments in the relationship between Sheldon and his grandma. I bet most of you wondered what the origin of this unusual Moonpie nickname she gave Sheldon was.
She calls me Moonpie because I'm nummy and she could just eat me up.
Thankfully, young Sheldon has picked up right where The Big Bang Theory left off, with Meemaw adorably referring to Sheldon by the sweet treat-inspired nickname many times.
I was just thinking the exact same thing.
Really?
Oh, Moonpie, I love you so much.
If you enjoyed our Young Sheldon hidden Easter eggs and hidden references, go watch more of our videos. I bet you can find out a lot of interesting things about your favorite shows. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay awesome.
Game over.